This is the Education, Youth, and Families Committee meeting for March 12th, 2025. I am the Vice Chair, Councilman at Large Alexander Hackett. At this time, I will call the roll for the members and the committee first. Councilwoman Bracy. Councilwoman Harley. Councilwoman McCoy.
Here.
Councilwoman Oliver.
Present.
Councilman Owens.
Here.
Council President Tribicongo. All righty. So it looks like we can get right into the agenda. It looks like we have our presenters online. Looks like our first presenters will be a presentation on Lightwork Enterprise by Chief Operational Officer Shannon Collins. Ms. Collins, how are you?
Yes, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
No. Thank you for showing up today. We truly appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and let you get started.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to share my screen in just a moment, but first I'm going to say just a little bit about myself. My name is Shannon Collins. I am the co-founder and COO of Lightwork Enterprise. We work with local government offices and also foundations to promote workforce development in various aspects, including education. And so I'll be presenting today in regards to a project between Lightwork Enterprise, also Lightwork Publishing, and the Wolf Foundation in developing study skills for students ages 8 to 17. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. I'll just go through the resources that we have available to students, and also what we hope that the committee would help sponsor for students across the city of Wilmington. And can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, and can you see the Study Skills Project presentation?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let me actually, can I share my screen? I just wanted to, I think the previous version didn't highlight some of our partners. If not, I'll go with what's here.
If you
Let her know that we're handling the screen share.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So they're handling the screen share. If you want to, you can also go ahead and just highlight some of the partners that you have.
Yes,
and then
absolutely,
we'll
no
just
problem.
go through the PowerPoint
So we partnered with a couple of partners in Wilmington, including Girls Inc. and Urban Promise of Wilmington. We also partnered with the Boys and Girls Club of Western Pennsylvania, and they served as research partners to actually test the effectiveness of these resources that we develop for students. So again, a little bit about my company, Lightwork Publishing. We are dedicated to publishing resources that are helpful to students as they grow and excel. And the Study Skills Resources is a project that we partner with the Wolf Foundation to bring free resources to students. You can go to the next slide. So the purpose of the Study Skills Project was to develop study skills resources, again, for students ages 8 to 17. And we wanted students, especially those who are experiencing difficulty with the learning process, we wanted to help them to develop their study skills so that we could help them remove any barriers to their academic success. And so we also wanted to promote conversation and communication between students, their parents, as well as program directors at nonprofits and also educators. And so a lot of times students who feel they feel discouraged because they may not know how to study. Many of us weren't taught the steps of studying. You can even see at the undergraduate level. I'm not sure if they still have it, but when I was coming through college, we had study hall. We had to learn how to study so that we can be successful as college students. And we don't necessarily think about that when it comes to younger students, elementary school students, middle and high school. We just assume they know how to study, and they may not. And so their academic GPA may not reflect their true ability, and it could be that they just need assistance with how to study to show what they are capable of academically. You can go to the next slide. And so many parents feel unequipped to help their students. as you all may have heard, some parents say, there's a new math, and so math or other subjects may be being taught differently than when we came through school. And just parents may feel as though they're just not equipped to help. Or you may have parents who may not have achieved high scores or high academics when they were coming through school. And so they don't engage with their child when it comes to studying. And so what we wanted to develop were simple tools that had the parents in mind, so they could, if their child was having difficulties in reading or taking notes, they could point their child to these tools and assist. And we actually have some great reports from parents who, after they've received a lot of the tools that we have available, said that it was just such a drastic change in their relationship to their child when it came to academics, because they felt as though they were now equipped to assist when previously they didn't feel that way. And so that was something that the Wolf Foundation really was a strong proponent of, helping parents feel empowered to be a part of their child's learning process. Okay, and so that was definitely a big, a major purpose in the development of these resources. Okay, you can go to the next slide. So again, as I just mentioned, we wanted the resources to be simple and easy to understand. It's something that we actually tested for when we actually researched the effectiveness of our study skills tools. Again, just to highlight again, we wanted it to be a tool to help parents create and improve the dialogue about their child's academics between the two of them. And again, just helping parents feel encouraged, equipped, and empowered to be a part of their child's academic success. You can go to the next slide. So here we have, I just highlighted a few of the tools that we have available. One is the study time questionnaire. So what we want a parent, an educator, an after-school program to understand, before you can assist a child with, improving their study skills in over a various number of domains, you need to understand what the child is. And so we create a very simple and short questionnaire, and this just gives us as educators, as parents, an understanding of where our child is or where the student is. And so we have the study time questionnaire. Again, it's very brief but very effective in understanding where the child may need some assistance when it comes to study skills improvement. You can go to the next slide. Here is, we wanted, again, to provide guidance to not only the student, but also to parents, and also to another group that we really had in mind here were nonprofit organizations that have after-school programs. And so, again, a lot of people who may be wanting after-school programming, homework help is a big part of programming for a lot of after-school, a lot of nonprofits. And they have a lot of volunteers who may be working with the organization or young staff, and they may not know how to help the students with studying. They may say, okay, what's your homework? Okay, we may have quiet time for you to actually do the homework, but how can we help instructors and program directors at nonprofits also get engaged with students when it comes to studying? And so we created, this is one of the tools that we created that educators and instructors and parents can utilize to help the child to learn what studying is. Okay, so we created this for our younger group, but it's also effective for older students as well. And it basically gives the steps of studying in a song. Okay, so you write it to review it, revisit it to use it. So again, when I was in elementary school, songs were a great way that I remember the steps of completing a task. Okay, and so again, we want students to understand it's a simple process. Once you understand it, you can be more effective in utilizing these steps. And so this is what we created for our younger students to help them remember how the steps of studying. You can go to the next slide. Okay, and this we created for our older students. The same exact thing, just displayed differently. Just kind of keeping the age group and maturity in mind. They may not want to sing a song, but again, that we have the steps kind of simplified here for them to understand and to begin to improve. So they record what they learn, they review it at home, and then they revisit it for tests. Okay, you can go to the next slide. This is the My Study Plan. So this is the this is one thing that we wanted is we wanted every student to walk away with a study plan. Okay, we want every student because if you don't plan, you plan to fail. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And so we want all students to have a plan for studying at home. You know, to begin thinking about and making it a part of their regular routine that they're studying. And so we start off the study plan with just encouragements. Okay, so we only give them a few options. They either can or they will succeed in school and in anything they put their mind to. And so this is just to kind of start. You know, students can sometimes feel very nervous when it comes to the topic of studying. So this is just a lighthearted and encouraging way we want to begin their journey of developing a study plan. And that's just with just saying to themselves that they can do this and they will be able to do this. And then the rest of the study plan, it really begins to highlight to students. We took this from research. Basically, we looked into the research and looked at the most effective methods for studying. So things like doing it in chunks, you know, instead of sitting down for an hour, 2 hours, you know, making sure you take a break, stand up, you walk around. So the study plan incorporates the things that we were able to find in the actual, the research. Researchers have found to be effective studying habits, and we incorporated that into the My Study Plan. So it's not arbitrary what's in the study plan. It's actually backed by research, so that the student is implementing within their study plan things that are proven by research to be effective in studying. You can go to the next one. And this is the study plan, the My Study Plan law. And so we created this, again, as I mentioned previously, we wanted to encourage dialogue between parents, caregivers, and students, as well as educators. Again, it could be a homework helper at a nonprofit. This helps guide these three very simple questions. One thing we're really big on, being simple but effective. 3 simple questions that gets the conversation started between the person who we consider the study helper and the student about keeping them on track, making sure if they have a test coming up, if they have a quiz coming up, they're actually taking notes and they're studying at home. Okay, so you can easily see if I'm working at a nonprofit organization and I'm working with a child and I ask them the simple question of, you know, did you take notes in class? And they say no. Okay, did you study at home this week? No. Well, do you have a test next week? Yes. Okay, well, this is a problem. So we wanted to help, again, parents, instructors, educators be more proactive when it comes to assisting students and helping them to best prepare. So this is, again, a simple tool that we have created as well, and we have available to instructors, to educators, as well as to parents. Okay, you can go to the next one. So again, as I mentioned, we partner with Girls Inc. and Urban Promise and the Boys and Girls Club of Western Pennsylvania because we're really big on research, and actually there being some data to test and see if what we've created is actually effective. And so we worked with, this number is a little bit higher, it's about 50 students across the different nonprofit organizations to see how effective the study skills resources were. And 100% reported that it was understandable, easy to understand. Actually, 96% now reported that it was helpful, and 95% reported that the two handouts that I showed you that taught the stages of studying, they said they said that it helped them to understand the steps of studying those handouts. So it's now 95% reported that. Okay, you can go to the next one. And again, another thing that we really wanted to encourage with these resources is that students would grow in their confidence as it relates to studying. And so, again, these numbers are a little bit better now. I mean, these are good numbers, but they've improved even more. About 85% reported an increase in confidence after receiving the study skills tools, and about 28 students reported this over the 3 sites. And so we were really, really happy to see that. Again, a big thing that we were wanting to promote is improving the students' confidence when it comes to studying. Okay, you can go to the next one. Okay, so that's it. So we wanted to present this to the committee to let you all, to inform you all of what we have available, the resources that we've developed. These resources are free, and we would just like to partner with different members of the committee to see how we can help get these resources available more widespread to the parents, the students, and the organizations across the city of Wilmington.
Thank you so much, Ms. Collins, for your time. I truly appreciate it. Before I go on, I just want to acknowledge Councilwoman Willard and our council president, Ernest Trippicongo, that's online right now. This presentation was amazing. We know what's going on in education today. I'm going to ask my council, see if they have any questions before I dive in here. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. So,
Councilman Olin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You did mention the Urban Promise. Is there any additional organizations that you work with? And I apologize if I missed that part of it.
Right. So we worked with Urban Promise. We work with Girls Inc. I think Girls Inc. has changed their name now, but Girls Inc. in Wilmington as well. And we work with the Boys and Girls Club of Western Pennsylvania. A number of different sites over Western Pennsylvania.
And if there was a community center, a group, a hub that wanted to be involved and work with you on this, how do they best go about that?
Yeah, so I have my email address is available. They can just reach out to me by email, and we can get everything set up. And it's really just that simple. Just reach out to me, and we'll take care of everything and get all the resources over to them. We also have we also work with there is a women's center in Philadelphia that we also provide these resources to. And so they're good for students, but they're also good for mothers who are maybe wanting to work on getting their GED or returning to school. And so we also have a virtual bookcase that parents and students are able to access these resources online directly as well. But if an organization wants to actually have the PDF forms and all of that to be able to print, they can just reach me by email. But for parents and students, we also have online virtual bookcase that they can access as well.
Thank you so much. Just want to check in. President Congo, do you have a question?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Really great presentation. I apologize if I missed anything earlier, but do you work only through other organizations, or do you also do one-on-one with families?
Right. So we work mostly with organizations, through organizations. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Also, I do have one question for you. I know you said the first thing you came, you said, how can we support you? Do you have any idea what that looks like in sponsoring anything that you have going on, or any partnerships with any organizations that we can help with?
Right. So a big thing is just access, as well as visibility. So a lot of schools, a lot of other nonprofit organizations aren't aware of these resources that we have available. So the biggest way in which I think that we could partner is if I could work with the committee to get these resources widely available to them, in regards to visibility as well as connections, being connected with them. That would be probably the biggest thing, the biggest way.
Thank you so much. And I'm guessing our president probably asked the question because we're getting ready to open up the Office of Educational Advocacy, which is going to touch on education and possibly be a partnership and be able to work with, instead of the committee is always here, but we wanted to have a stake in education, so that's why we started the Office of Educational Advocacy.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And if there was, we do trainings and we do workshops as well. So that is something that our company does offer, more in a group setting than one-on-one. But if the committee would like for us to put on a workshop or for parents or for students and go over any of these study skills, we definitely can do that. And then just connect them more with our partners with more one-on-one help.
Thank you. Is there anybody in the public that would like to ask any questions? Alrighty. Thank you so much for the presentation. We truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming. And please, before you wrap everything up, if you would mind, be so nice, let everybody know where they can find you. If you want to go on the email, let them know your email online, because this is live. All right, so we want to let the people know.
Yeah, so again, the best way to reach me is by email. My email address is just my first dot my last name, Shannon.Collins@Lightwork, and then pub.com. That's the easiest and best way to get in contact with me, and I definitely will return any emails that I receive.
All righty. Thank you so much. Once again, you were here today, but this is a partnership that can go on for a long time. Like I said, we got the Office of Educational Advocacy getting ready to happen, so we would love to see you back.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much for having me.
You too. You have a wonderful day. All righty. We're going to move along on this agenda. Next, we have a presentation on culture restoration project from Richard. And how do I pronounce it? I'm going to just say Miss Watson. Miss Watson. AliShah.
AliShah, yes.
AliShah.
Yes.
I said it right.
You did. So, hello. Thank you all for having me here today to talk about our organization. I am AliShah Watson. I am the Executive Director of Culture Restoration Project, Inc. We are a nonprofit that functions out of Wilmington, Delaware, that offers cultural enrichment to students K through 12. We also provide different types of community engagement. We work on community development projects. And I have a presentation here to kind of go over what we do, break down our programs, and just show you how we serve the people of Wilmington. So next slide. Okay, so what guides us, and that's a little off, but I hope you can see it. Our mission is to provide culturally competent, educational, and arts-based programs and services that build culturally aware, self-reliant youth leaders and communities. And basically what that means is that our programs and our services focus on culture. And when we say culture, we mean like the morals, principles, and values that guide your life. And obviously we work mostly with youth, so we're just basically trying to get them to understand who they are, where they come from, their responsibility to self, family, community, and we just put all of that together in the term culture. And what we do is arts-based, so we produce a lot of arts projects with our students, and then ultimately we just want to build self-reliant youth leaders and communities where we are reliant on ourselves. We can figure out solutions to our own problems and not always look outside to figure out the answer, because everything that we need is right with us. And then that would get us to our vision, which is a reimagined community transformed by culturally adapted and engaged youth and adults who accept responsibility for the maintenance of their communities. So basically, our mission is to get us to the point where people are transformed and they're taking care of their communities. Next slide. So in 2024, we served more than 600 students. And about 95% of those students were in the city of Wilmington. So we reached a lot of children. Our goal is to reach even more. In order to do that, we do have to hire more staff, which is something that we're focused on right now, is identifying staff, finding funding to pay their salary, because the impact of our programs has been phenomenal, which you'll see in future slides. So serving over 600 is just crazy, because just in 2021, I think we served about 150 to 200. So between 2021 to 2024, we've grown exponentially. And we've exceeded our goal for the third year in a row, which is also amazing. Our goal has been 300 students. So, we're proud of that. Next slide. Our results. So the charts that are here show the results of our program. So in our programs, they all focus on something called a knowledge of self, which is a basic understanding of self from a cultural, historical, familial, communal, and social perspective, and a development of a more positive, self-affirming self-identity. What that means is we are trying to teach children to understand who they are, to be proud of who they are, and to use that strength and that pride to help them make better decisions, to understand their responsibilities, and to make them have purpose. And to do that, we have workbooks. And in our workbooks, we do a pre-assessment and we do a post-assessment. And we're basically asking our students the same questions in the beginning of the program as we do at the end. And those questions are around, who are you? Where do you come from? We're asking them about where they think they're going, like, why are you here? Why are you doing what you do? We ask them very basic questions. They give us answers in the beginning, and then they give us answers in the end. And we compare those answers to see how deep do they get from the beginning to the end. So like in the beginning, they be like, I'm from Northside. Okay, that's a really good answer, especially when you're asking a child out the blue, where are you from?
Right.
Some of them say Wilmington. Some of them say Delaware. Some of them say from my mother's belly. They say all types of stuff, and we're like, cool. And then by the end of the program, they're saying things like, well, I'm from a long lineage of strong freedom fighters. That's a knowledge of self, because now you're thinking deeper. Or I come from a grandmother who raised 10 children who became whatever they became. That's a knowledge of self, because you're learning where you really came from beyond Northside, beyond this concept of Wilmington. So when we do that, we have our facilitators, they kind of rank the responses, and we do it on a Likert scale. So it's like we go from 0 to 5, and basically 0 is non-applicable. That means that they just didn't do it, they didn't answer it. 1 is not at all, meaning they don't have a knowledge of self at all. 2 is attempted. That means they gave an answer. It's really not much of an answer, but at least they tried. And they have some kind of an understanding of something. So they might say, I'm from Northside. That's kind of like an attempted. 3 is somewhat. That's when they go a little deeper. And then 4 is moderate. That's even deeper. And then 5 means they gave like a dynamic answer. And we can take those numbers and then we compare. And that's how we're able to get these charts here to see what percentage of students gave each answer in the beginning and in the end. And if you look at the graph, in the beginning, the 3s and the 4s, we had 8% with a 3. We had about 3% with a 4, none with a 5. But then at the end, we had 69.4% with a 5. And we had 23.6% with a 4. So that's amazing. That means that their answers were drastically different from the beginning to the end. And that's what we want to see. Next slide. And then that right there, that 97.7% is the number of students that exhibited an adequate level of a knowledge of self, which is a 3 and above. because we're not looking for perfection. So we include 3 in there because 3 shows us that they actually made some sort of improvement. Because ultimately, our goal is not to have students in our program one time. We try to have students year after year. So as long as you at least hit a 3, and we know we're going to see you again another year, you probably going to be a 4 the next year and a 5 the next year. So that was good. We exceeded our goal again with that. And then the next slide. So this is just a list of our programs, and you can go to the next slide, which starts to explain our programs. So the first program is Beyond Those Bars. That's the most popular program. Everybody know Beyond Those Bars because that's where students are writing songs and rapping, and they create professional music videos. So it's a project-based enrichment program. We engage students in grades 3 through 12 in culturally relevant activities. So that knowledge of self portion, they work on that. We have a Beyond Those Bars workbook, and the whole beginning of the workbook is the cultural part of the education. And then they go into what is a bar. They go into how to write lyrics. They go into like song creation, how to create a beat. That whole part comes after the cultural part. And so when they create their songs, they get to use everything that they learned in the beginning of the class to help them build their lyrics. And most of the songs are about social issues. So the students are able to choose a social issue and also use that new knowledge of self that they gained to put in their lyrics. And then they create a song. We bring a mobile recording studio into the classroom. They record it. Which is just the bomb to them. We get it professionally mixed, and then we have a professional videographer come in. They get to storyboard a video, and they shoot a music video.
Okay.
So, yep. And then the next 2, next slide. These are like derivatives of Beyond Those Bars. So we have a beat making and production. That's strictly teaching students how to make beats and how to produce the music. And then we have BTB, Youth Artist Development, and this is for the students that we identify in our programs that are real artists, that are like taking it seriously. And so, every once in a while, it's that star that you see. And so then we link them up with a professional artist, and in the Youth Artist Development Program, they are able to create a 6-song project that they professionally record. They get to shoot 1 music video. They do a professional photo shoot, and they come out with a whole project with an album cover and everything, and they upload it on all streaming platforms. They own all their music, so they create their own publishing company. So they can promote their music, and it all goes to their bank account, and they make the money, and we pay for all of it. So it's a good deal, but they love it. They get to have a project out just like Jay-Z would or Beyonce would. It's the same thing, and they work really hard on it. So, that's one of the programs that's picking up speed, but it's only a few students in it because we hand select them. It has to be students that take their artistry seriously. And then the next slide. So these are our strictly cultural-based programs. We have Sankofa Rites of Passage Initiative, which is an African-centered development process that teaches practical life skills, cultural pride, civic responsibility, and positive self-identification. Still that knowledge of self piece. It's a 9 to 12-month process, and if anyone knows anything about rites of passages, it takes you from one stage of life to the next. Right now, we have 2 cohorts of boys going right now, and basically we are teaching them about their responsibilities as men because they have to learn that. Of course, it's age appropriate, obviously, but we're teaching them what it means to have responsibility to your family, to your community. They're also learning a lot of African-centered concepts about character, about order, and they're learning about their connection to other people, like I am because you are. So that's part of their process and rites of passage. And then we have the Knowledge of Self program, which is strictly just teaching about self-awareness and culture. And the Knowledge of Self, right now, what we're trying to expand that because what we've noticed with students, especially in Wilmington, they don't have a sense of purpose. And that's one of the reasons why they're in school and their behavior isn't what it should be, because they really don't know why they're in school. They're there because somebody told them they had to go. And when you're there because someone told you had to go, but not because you know you're here for a reason, you really don't care about it. So we're trying to expand our Knowledge of Self program to more schools because it's just not being taught. Like, people don't focus on culture in other programs, and that's what we're here for. So next. Then this is our Culture Keepers program, which is actually now called Power Up, and it's a virtues-based enrichment program that teaches character building skills. And this one is for younger children. So it's pretty much like our other ones, but it focuses on things that are more age specific to like kindergartners, first graders, and second graders. Next. Okay, so this slide shows Panya circles, which are similar to restorative circles, but it's with the African-centered approach to it. So right now we have been doing Panya circles at Imani Village, and it has been amazing. It's been women that have been coming together, talking about grief. It started off with women who have dealt with gun violence in their families, and so we come and we talk about that, and we have different activities of healing. We have one coming up at Imani Village to work with the residents council there to help them engage with each other better, so they learn how to deal with conflict. There's been some issues with that, so we're working with them on how do you talk to each other. If an issue arises, what do you do? So those are our Panya circles. And then our Sankofa Drum Corps is our little young ones. Those are our 5 to 8 year olds, and they're learning African drumming, because right now we don't really have a next generation of African drummers in the city of Wilmington, and the drummers that we have are elders, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and when they're gone, if we don't raise up another generation, we won't have drummers. So we have the master drummer Baba Kamal from the Griots Wa Umoja. I'm sure a lot of people in the city have seen them drumming. So Baba Kamal is one of the elders of our organization, and he teaches the young ones how to drum. And then the last slide are our 2 big events that we have each year. Malcolm X Day, which we have at the Mitchell Center for African American Heritage. We have that each year. We have between 100 to 200 people attend each year, and it's just basically a celebration of Malcolm X. It happens in May, so it's also a culmination of all of our programs, so our students are able to come and perform the songs that they created throughout the year. And then Kwanzaa, which is our biggest celebration, which in 2024, it was the biggest that we've had. We had about 300 people attend, and we were like, whoa. So that happens at the PAL. And Kwanzaa is something that we want to expand in 2025. We were given the responsibility of Kwanzaa from the elders that have been doing it for about 30 years prior to us, and it was handed down to us. They used to do it for 7 days. We're not there yet. We commend them for doing that, but we're not quite at the 7-day mark. Last year we did 2 days. 2023 we did 3 days. But what we actually want to do, and we hope that, City Council will help with this, we want to do like a Kwanzaa extravaganza, and we want it to be like a 1-day huge event. Instead of doing multiple days, we want to do one big where people in Philly know about it, people in Jersey know about it. They come here for Kwanzaa, where there's activities, there's vendors, there's food, there's education sessions. We want to do that moving forward. And then in connection to Kwanzaa, which is not on here because we haven't done it yet, we want to bring back the African Festival, which we have been talking with Dr. Hanifa Shabazz, who was the one who did it originally, to bring it back. So that's in the plans, and it'll be somewhat connected to Kwanzaa because of the principles that each hold. So those are all of our programs and events and everything about our organization. If anyone has any questions for me, I'd be willing to answer.
What I will say is the first time we met, you and your husband was doing Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
And y'all had the culture. I mean,
Oh.
y'all was teaching from the moment I see it. And I can tell that you both are dreaming, but not just dreaming, executing and making sure you're doing it right by the kids. I hope and pray that you guys continue to expand in all the schools all over Delaware to continue to help our kids have a purpose. So that's just from me. And I do ask, where are you guys located at?
Oh, thank you for asking me that, because I forgot to say
Well,
something.
I got to come visit now because I want to be in the music videos. You know what I'm saying? You know, they say all in the music videos. That's going to be me.
So you can't visit us yet.
Okay.
All of our programs are in schools and community centers. So we are at Kaumba, we're at Thomas Edison, we're at the PAL off and on, we're at Hicks Anderson in the summertime. We just signed a contract today to be at Maurice Pritchett because they need us. They need us.
Congratulations.
So we were there today, signed a contract today. We start there March 24th to end out the school year, and hopefully we'll be right back the beginning of next school year. Hopefully. So y'all advocate for us because it's a lot going. We were supposed to be there at the beginning of the school year this year, but as you know, transitions and all of that. So if y'all know, just, keep our names in people's mouths because they want us, but it's always a lot of chaos and confusion. So we're in schools and community centers. However, we are about to get a building, and we should be in that building the beginning of April. It's not going to be open to the public because I know. There's a lot of work that has to be done to the building. So we're going to start this spring. It'll probably take us about 1.5 years to get all the work done, get the funding and everything. But we will be located on the north side, which is where I am from. We will be on 22nd and Monroe. It's a corner property. It's an old church, and we are very excited for that. We're going to be reaching out to our elected officials. We're going to be reaching out to the community for fundraising because we're opening a culture center, and there has.
Councilwoman Olive.
I just wanted to say something before I leave. I got to pick my niece up at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Go ahead. No.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I just
No,
wanted to
you're
say
fine.
something because it's almost 6 o'clock. I'm very familiar with your program. I know you. I support you. And I just wanted to say congratulations and keep up the good work before I left.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Miss English, before she leaves, can you get her information? I have your old number. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Pick my niece up at 6.
All right. Thank you.
Matt, please.
You may, Councilwoman Olive.
Sorry. Thank you so much.
Look at me feeling a little important.
Thank you.
Question. Councilman Owens.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First off, I just want to say congratulations on such a successful year last year. I was there for the Kwanzaa event at the PAL. It was absolutely amazing. The food, also shout out for the food, whoever did the food.
We always have good food.
It was great
I don't
as
play
well,
that.
too. But I did want you to kind of elaborate a little bit more on how council can be a partner with y'all. I know you talked about the African the African festival in the Kwanzaa, the big event at the end of the year. Are you thinking about both of those at the same time, or are you thinking about breaking them up like one every 6 months?
So Kwanzaa is in December, and then the African festival would be during the summer. The reason I connected the two is because we want those to be anchor events. And so that's how we wanted to, that's the winter event and this is the summer event. But we want them to have the same feel, but of course the African festival we envision being a lot larger than Kwanzaa. I'm pretty sure a lot of people remember the African festival from back in the day. It was big. It was, you have a headlining performer and you have all the cultural vendors. And so we're trying to definitely bring that back. And we would want the support of the city of Wilmington. And outside of the events, a lot of the support that would help us is advocacy. Obviously funding, so funding is obvious, but definitely advocacy. It's taken some years for people to really understand what we do, We think that they're starting to understand it, but they need to understand how important it is. And sometimes they don't see the importance because no one is really out here talking about culture and a knowledge of self and responsibility to community and family, especially in a city where it's majority black. And in our schools, it's a majority black students who have no idea about their history and culture. They're just out here living. They just out here living day to day. They don't even think about I don't know. All they know is I'm here in Wilmington, Delaware, playing with my friends or going to school, watching TV, playing the game. You know, they're just not thinking beyond that. And so we've been raising, I would say at this point, there's 2 generations that are completely detached from their history and culture. We've been doing programming now for about 13 years. And we've seen, in that time frame, we've seen how distant our children are becoming from self and kind. And we're just like, whoa. Yeah. They don't know what's going on in the world around them. They don't know how their lived experience connects to the lived experience of someone in Palestine. And it's like, how you don't see it? And it's like, no, because I don't even know where Palestine is. What's that? And it's like, okay. We're not teaching them about culture, and we're not teaching them about the connectedness between peoples, especially between people that are struggling to survive and struggling to receive respect as human beings. They don't see it because no one talks to them about it. So advocacy is a really big part so that these schools and community centers understand the importance of having programs like us there.
And I asked this next question because you have a list of great programs, and they're inside the schools. Are these like cohorts? Like how long are these programs? Are they all throughout the whole year? And then my second question for some of the parents that might be watching tonight, you listed the schools. They might have a kid in the school. How can they be a part of your program? Like, are you selecting the kids? Are the schools selecting the kids? How does that look?
So all of our programs are written to be a whole school year. Depending on where we are, we do truncated versions when necessary. So like Maurice Pritchett is about to get a truncated version because we're starting in March. And then hopefully next year we can start at the beginning of the year. For rites of passage, they are hand selected. So we'll talk to the administration at the school and say, okay, who do you think really needs to be a part of this program? When we were at Maurice Pritchett last year, they were hand selected because we got all of the boys that were out of control. So they just plucked them and gave them to us. Yeah. But outside of that, they're usually not. So like at Kaumba, we work with all of their 4th grade, 5th grade. So it's not hand selected. We just have whole classes. Gotcha. And so our cohorts, we prefer them to be a year long. At Kaumba, it's a year long. At Thomas Edison, it's a year long for the most part. Nice. Yeah.
That is nice. I do have a follow-up. My other question would be also for the schools, do you guys also provide any other resources? I'm guessing when you guys listen to these kids and you hear all the things that they have going on, like how is the connecting the dots going for you guys and your organization?
So we do provide other resources. In dealing with students, if something comes up, like if we realize there's a student in need, obviously we will alert the administration at the school. But also, this is Wilmington, so half the time we know their mom, their dad, their aunt, their cousin, and so we can do direct, like, connect and be like, this is a service that we know that you need. We can connect you with that. A lot of times we just do things on our own, like we provide for students on our own. It really just depends on the particular situation. Once we are in our facility and it's up and running and it's open, we do plan to have more services that we can provide to the students, not just programs.
And I also wonder as well, do you have any questions? You all good? I also want, I see a question. Councilwoman Willard has a question. You are good to go. Because I could keep going. Councilwoman Willard?
Christian, you're muted.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Watson, I just wanted to say thank you to you and, everybody on your team for coming in, making this presentation, and for all the work you do year round. I see a lot of your impact just through how you get your message out, and I really appreciate how you have a vision and you just follow your vision and you're making the impact that is needed. So I just want to say congratulations and thank you. And as far as council, we are here to support, and we hope you'll invite us so that we can also support the young people that you're working with, when they have events and things like that. We would love to just also support them, support your program, and also support the students, because I really agree with what you're saying about our young people need to know that the community is behind them, and that they're part of something bigger. And I'm hoping that council can be part of what you're building in terms of supporting young people in womanhood. So just thank you, and I hope you'll stay in touch with council and keep engaging us.
I will do that. And we'll be at the City of Wilmington's Earth Day too. Our students, this will be our third year. Our Kaumba students come and they perform a song. So we'll be there. If any of y'all are there, we'll be there.
Well, I was an educator over at Kumba a long time ago. And,
cool.
I had a great opportunity to be there Earth Day when they did it, and all the wonderful things, the moja and all the different things that they teach, the culture that they teach there. My other question also goes around to education, and I'm going to keep telling everybody, we're getting ready to open up this Office of Educational Advocacy, so we're going to try to find ways where we can partner. But in some capacity, when you have some of these students and their parents is working nonstop, sometimes don't have the time to deal with certain different things. Like, how is your relationship with the parents to get these kids that they send you to get them back on track, especially because it's like they buy in a program when they're with you, but when they go home, is their parents still overlaying, overlap?
Yeah, that's a problem.
Okay.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why we have been pushing for years to get a facility. Because being in schools and community centers is great, especially in schools, because children have to go to school. Mm-hmm. So that's a built-in audience. And so that means that we have them and they're focused. But then they go home, and outside of that school space, we don't have another space to provide anything to those students. So that is our goal with our facility, is that we want to be able to have classes for parents. That's a really big part of changing the trajectory of the students in the city, is the parents. Because when they go home, and because one of the things that we focus on is language. Yeah. It's language. The way that you talk is directly connected to the way that you think. And children speak the way their parents speak. They speak the way their aunts speak, their older cousins speak. And the more that we can be around those students to change that, and then also possibly be around their parents when we have classes, the more that language changes. And even if we can't be around the parents, the longer we can be around the children, because children influence their parents just like parents influence the children. We see that all the time. Parents contact us all the time, and they're like, yeah, my child was telling me something about this Ubuntu. Like, we connected some kind of way. Whatever that is, yeah, that's what they were saying. And I'm like, oh, even if you don't even understand the definition, you just said Ubuntu. Okay, right. Like, that's progress. So hopefully, when we have our facility, we can connect the parents in more so that we can make more of an impact.
Thank you. Councilwoman McCoy?
Thank you. I would like to also congratulate the organization on how much they've actually grown since the first time I've heard about it. Mm-hmm. You guys are doing a whole lot. Yeah. I also appreciate the fact that you spoke on the captive audience of the children at school, because that's something like, I don't know whether or not you're aware, but there are quite a few schools in the 6th district, not just on my side of town, but in the 6th district, period. Mm-hmm. So I have the Early Learning Center, which is formerly just Pulaski, and then also Bayard. And so where these great things are happening over on one side of town, I'm still trying to make certain that people are recognizing what's happening over here. Sense of self portion of things that you talked about, I would love to hear more about that and how and when you're able to finally start to expand that to maybe to get on the other side of town. That is something I could truly get behind, because I'm trying to find ways to incentivize our young people to, maybe want to be at school, change behavior. And I'm, as a person who's, don't have really much background with education, I would love to see what you guys are doing and see whether or not there's any way you can come to my part of town and help us with that type of initiative.
We would love to. Again, this is why I said advocacy, because we've been at Bayard. We've been there. We did something during the summer, one summer at Bayard. We were supposed to be there. It was a couple of times that we were planning to be there for a school year. I think what really needs to be understood about our schools in the city, love them, but it's a struggle on the administrative side, and it's understandably so. They have a lot of responsibility, a lot of students, and a lot of students that have challenges. So in that sense, elected officials, advocacy, like really stepping in, reminding admin and reminding them the importance of, okay, I know you have all this going on over here, but don't forget about this over here. Or even when this, is it a committee of the education?
Yeah, yes, it is.
The one that's going to
Oh, no, it's actually going to be its own office.
Okay.
We'll have a director.
So one of the things that I think should be focused on is how to support the schools in the city in terms of organization. It's a lot of disorganization going on, and it's not a judgment, it's just a fact. And that prevents some programming from being able to occur because they just can't always get it together. So that's something to really think about.
And I just went to a meeting yesterday, and one of the people that was there stated that they had a group of kids, and the group of kids said, it sounded like the leadership is treating us like it's a sport team. Like every time we turn around in 4 years or 3 years, there's somebody new leading the team. And one thing I say about Bayard, they're getting ready to get a new leader, principal, getting ready to get selected in the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping and praying is somebody that cares about our kids and want to stay, because that's what needs to happen. Maurice Pritchard is on their way to get a principal too as well. So like you said, the leadership starts from the top, and hopefully it trickles down. And, I can't wait to be able to see that.
Yeah, because we definitely don't have a youth problem. We have an adult problem.
Yeah.
So it's on the adults to get stuff together, So please,
and I think our president, Mr. President Congo, is like right on point, wanting to be in education right now because there's so much going on in that. Like, so we're trying to get to the community and say, how can we help? We haven't had a voice in education in so long, so we're like, that has to stop today. And the advocacy part, like you said, is important. So, I mean, at the end of the day, our schools got to get better because our kids are going to continue to go through them, and we got to do better for our kids. So you're absolutely right about that. Well, we don't have any more questions, but before we always wrap up, is there anything that you would like to leave the audience with tonight?
I would like to say, City of Wilmington is full of black and brown children, and they are falling to the wayside. They are really falling to the wayside. And we got to do better. And it's not just about language arts and math and science, because none of that even matters if they don't have a sense of self and purpose, because they're not going to absorb this information in the way that they need to absorb it in order to use it to change the trajectory of their lives. They're just not. And we see it. We're looking at teenagers and young adults now that we used to have in class, and they're in jail or they're murdered, or we're looking at them going nowhere, and we're like, wow, how did this happen? Why couldn't all of us program providers and educators come together and save these children? Why? And it's because we're not all on the same page. We don't all have the same message. So I just say to my city, our children are falling to the wayside, and it is our fault. It's the adults' fault, and we got to step up and come together with the same message that we're feeding our children. We can't all be coming with something different, because children, they don't take to that very well. So come together with the same message and the same goal, and save our babies. That's all.
No, thank you so much. And also, one last thing. Are you still taking on any more schools? Do you have okay, just making sure.
We are, because at the end of the day, we will get another facilitator. We will train. We will do all of that. When the need is there, we're going to fulfill it. Definitely.
Well, thank you so much. Before we wrap up, in the public, is there any questions that you guys would like to ask? All righty. So all you got to do is come on up, state your name, and go ahead and go. You don't got to leave. She's going to give you the question. All right? That's for you.
It's not really, well, I do have one question. Hi, my name is Janine Campbell. I want to say great work. This is awesome.
Thank you.
You're doing a great thing. And I just wanted to know if you do anything with photography.
So, no, that we mostly do, just when we do our art projects, is videography and music for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We would love to do photography, though. It's just, it never really came up with our students. If students ever said, we're interested in photography, we would definitely find a professional photographer, because we know everybody. So we would definitely have somebody come in and work with them on that.
Yeah, my son, he's 16, and he just took an interest in it. And so I've been searching for some type of resource, and I haven't really came across anything. So that's why I asked, because I see that you're doing such great work. This is awesome. This made me smile. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
No, thank you so much for the comment. We surely going to get you to add that program. Another thing before we wrap it up. We got another question? All right, come on up and state your first and last name.
Good afternoon. Hi, my name is Zane. And how do y'all help the kids in the BTB program? Like, how do y'all assist them and get them to build up better circumstances?
So there's multiple BTB programs. In our BTB artist development program specifically, those students actually usually get paid opportunities. And so in doing that, that's more like workforce development. So we're helping them make an income, and we're also teaching them about contracts and how to engage professionally, so that they can have that skill when they get older, when it's time to get a job or engage with anyone in a professional manner. So that kind of helps them so that they can progress as an adult. They're learning those skills that you need as an adult.
Basically, you're getting them ready for the future.
Yep, getting them ready for the future.
That's right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the question. That was a good question. You got a question too? Oh, you just raised your hand. Okay, just making sure now. We didn't want to forget you. I hear kids today, and I started a clothing line, and it was doing good. And every kid would ask me, "Hey, how do you start a clothing line?" And we had started a program over at Reach Riverside, still going on. So that's also another thing. These kids today, they want to wear and express themselves with their fashion. But thank you so much for coming out. We truly appreciate you, and I know you're going to continue to do the great work that you've been doing for our kids. I don't want to leave you, but we got to go.
I understand. Thank you.
All righty. So at this time, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Councilwoman Willard.
Second, but I don't think I'm a member of the committee.
Yeah, we're waiting on McCoy. Nice to. You got McCoy's number?
I think if we don't have a quorum anymore, we can just dissolve the meeting.
Yeah, you guys are good. You can still leave. You guys are good.
Got you. All right, it's been properly moved and second to adjourn. All those, we don't even have to do that.
No vote,
Okay,
no
we're
vote.
going to dissolve it, and we're going to go take a picture with your group. I'll see y'all later.